Hey friends, welcome back. So episode 4 of Survivor just premiered, and this has been my favorite episode of the season so far, and I'm super excited to talk about it, so let's go. So this episode starts with the Luvu tribe coming in hot after their last tribal council. At the last tribal, Genie was left out of the vote, so she is pissed right now. Shan tries to reassure her that voting out Brad was in Genie's best interest because Brad really wasn't on her side, but then that tips JD off, and JD actually gets a little bit upset at Shan from withholding information from him. The information that she was withholding from JD was about Brad's advantage, and it wasn't really about herself, and so she ends up actually using that as an excuse to JD as to why she didn't tell him. And I actually thought this was a pretty solid excuse. You know, it wasn't my advantage, so it wasn't, my thing to tell. I don't know if JD really believed it or not, but hey, I thought it was pretty clever. So one of the reasons why this was my favorite episode so far is because we got to see a lot of the camp life, and we got to see a lot of new character development. I feel like this was the first episode where we really got to see the inner workings of the Luvu tribe. First, we see Erika come after Sydney. She says that Sydney is emotional, Sydney is impulsive, and we really didn't get to see any real evidence of this besides Sydney getting really upset when she couldn't make fire. Like, I don't know. I wish they would just show more besides somebody not making fire. Like, I wish they would kind of show Erika's perspective from that a little bit more. But since they don't, that's kind of a sign to me that Erika might not make it too far in this game. Of course, it's like really early to tell. We'll see, but that's just, my first prediction since they're not really giving her input or her POV on anything. So after Erika tells Deshawn that she's coming after Sydney, Deshawn goes and tells Sydney, and immediately those two start plotting to take Erika out. They apparently feel so threatened by Erika, and they want her out so badly that they are willing to throw the comp and lose immunity and go to tribal where everybody is at risk. I just didn't really see the point of this. I thought this was a terrible idea. Throwing comps on purpose makes sense if it's a really big target or somebody that has proven themselves to be a huge threat that you just have to get out no matter what. I could understand that. But Erika, now don't get me wrong, because Erika might be a great player in her own right. For Deshawn and Danny to risk going home themselves just to possibly have the chance to get her out when she was coming for Sydney, she wasn't even coming for Danny or Deshawn. So that whole thing just really didn't make sense to me, but I'm sure there is more going on there than what we saw in the show. There has to be, right? Danny and Deshawn trying so hard to throw this damn competition, but Naseer is not having it. Naseer is here to play, okay? Like, I wasn't expecting Naseer to be a comp beast, but he damn near carried the entire team to victory during that immunity challenge. I have to give him props for that, even though his social game has not been great so far. So despite Danny and Deshawn's attempts to throw this challenge, we see that the Luvu tribe is actually the team to lose the competition, so they will be headed to tribal council for the second time in a row. So we get back to the Luvu camp, and right off the bat it looks like Genie is going to be the one to go. Seems like she's the one who's really on the outside of the whole tribe. Shan and Ricard are currently running shit. They seem to be the ones that are always making the decisions on who gets to go on the tribe. Now Shan knows about JD's advantage, and she doesn't want him to get any funny ideas, so she comes out with this brilliant lie to try to convince him to let her hold on to his advantage for tribal council like he did last week. Now Shan is adorable, okay? She has this cute, pretty, innocent little face. So when she starts crying to JD, talking about how paranoid she was, talking about how scared she was that he was going to flip on her. I'm just so scared. I'm so scared. I'm so nervous. She was acting super duper paranoid. And what do you know? JD believes her. Like, he totally believes her. Like, just full stop. And he trusts her enough to let her have his advantage again. Shan was on her Mafia pastor shit. As she was going through this lie with JD, she was singing her little evil theme song. It was great. I loved it. I was living. And I knew it. I called it. After episode 1, I was like, when Shan is up to evil, I know they're going to play that music again. I know they're going to bring it back. And they did. I mean, it's pretty much the Shan show at this point. So they get to tribal council, and this is probably my favorite tribal so far this season. It's really emotional, yet it has a lot of good character development, and we also get to learn a lot from the Uwa tribe. For a second there, the way they were editing it made it seem like Genie was really going to be the one to go home. It seemed like the tribal was kind of focused on Genie. When everybody sat down, Genie was the first person Jeff had targeted and asked a question to. But they were making it a little bit too obvious that it was going to be Genie. So I was like, oh, I have a feeling that Shan is up to her tricks. And of course she was. The Mafia pastor strikes again, and we see that JD is completely blindsided and is the one voted out of the Uwa tribe. I'm a little surprised but not disappointed that JD was the one voted out. I'm really proud of Shan for making a big move, and I'm happy to see such a powerful move and just a powerful episode overall. But on the other hand, I really think that JD would have been more loyal to Shan in the long run than Ricard or Genie will. I can see Ricard or Genie probably turning on Shan, especially since she is obviously playing such a strong game so far. That's probably a hot take. It's probably a little bit controversial since JD is such a wild card, but JD, he's predictably unpredictable, if that makes any sense. You know that he's going to showboat and act crazy, but you know that he's going to do that. So you can kind of control him a little bit more. The fact that Shan was able to control him for the second time and grab that advantage, that could have been a positive sign. Like, hey, this is the guy to keep. You know, he is young and naive and a little bit foolish, but that could work out in Shan's favor as long as he's on her side, which he really did appear to be. So ultimately, we'll see if this was the best move for her. Either way, I'm excited that a big move was made. I loved it. So what did you guys think of the decision to vote out Shan over Genie? Do you think it was a smart move on Shan's part, or do you think she should have done something else? Let me know in the comments below. Y'all, this is my favorite episode of the season so far, and it makes me super duper excited to finish off the show. Make sure you subscribe down below for more updates on Survivor 41. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.